This evening, first, visa-free travel to the British Virgin Islands. Guyanese citizens can now pack their bags and visit the BVI without needing a visa. We'll tell you what this means for travel, trade and tourism between the two regions. Plus, 2 suspects surrender after a nationwide manhunt for the abductors of Joshua David. 2 of the 5 wanted men have turned themselves in. We'll bring you the latest on this high-profile case and the ongoing search for the remaining suspects. Also, tragedy on the road. A fatal motorcycle accident in Windsor Forest claims the life of a 30-year-old man. Details on what went wrong and the investigation into the crash. And the celebration of age and style. Seniors take to the runway as the Ministry of Human Services hosts Seniors in Fashion. We'll share highlights from the event honoring our nation's elders and the initiative aimed at improving their lives. Finally, the stage is set. The first U.S. vice presidential debate between Tim Walz and J.D. Vance is heating up. What can voters expect from this critical showdown? Stay tuned for these stories and more right here on Headline News Update. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for October 1st, 2024. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, Guyanese citizens can now visit the British Virgin Islands without needing a visa, as BVI Premier Dr. Natalio Whitley announced on Monday.
I'm pleased to announce visa-free access to Guyanese nationals to the British Virgin Islands. This step strengthens the bond between our countries and the region, facilitating greater ease in travel, trade, tourism, and investment. It underscores our shared vision of regional cooperation and opens new opportunities for people-to-people exchange. Many of our Caribbean brothers and sisters already benefit from visa-free access to the BVI, and we are pleased to extend this reciprocal courtesy to Guyana, a giant in our Caribbean community.
This strategic move is not only about strengthening ties between the BVI and the Caribbean region, but also about opening up new opportunities. It is expected to facilitate more accessible travel, trade, tourism, and investment, potentially boosting the local economy. Dr. Whitley emphasized that this decision reflects a shared commitment to regional cooperation and will enhance people-to-people exchanges. The BVI is also working on a memorandum of understanding to solidify this relationship with Guyana further.
As promised, we have advanced visa-free access, and we are currently working on a MOU for deepening cooperation between Guyana and the BVI.
While the visa-free agreement is expected to be implemented soon, further discussions with BVI immigration and tourism officials are required. Over 1,000 Guyanese currently reside in the BVI. In other news, Osafo Peters and Alpha Poole surrendered to police after being wanted for the abduction of Joshua David on Main Street, Georgetown. Dale Jarvis has more details.
Osafo Peters, known as Sadest, and Alpha Poole have turned themselves into the police following wanted bulletins in connection with the abduction of Joshua David, also known as Bricks, which occurred on September 27, 2024 in Main Street, Georgetown. Their surrender comes as a part of a police investigation involving 5 men wanted for questioning in the case. Along with Peters and Poole, the police are seeking Aaron Allen of West Rumvelt, Wayne Barker of Lot G Norton Street Lodge, and Dwayne Griffith of Lot 68 William Street Kitty, all of whom are believed to have participated in the abduction. A video circulating on social media shows David surrounded by 5 individuals during a scuffle, with one of the men seen kicking him to force compliance. Following this altercation, David was forcibly taken, with the location of his abduction remaining unclear. It is believed that the incident is in connection to a recent drive-by shooting that resulted in the deaths of 39-year-old Lawrence Wayne, known as Boy Boy, and 40-year-old Anthony Havercrum on Durban Street, Georgetown, on August 24, 2024. On Saturday, police conducted extensive searches in the Bucks and Backlands, employing drones to aid in the effort, but unfortunately found no significant evidence related to Joshua's whereabouts. Today, the police have resumed the search for David at Annandale East Coast Demerara. David was abducted while purchasing food on Main Street, Georgetown last week. The investigation into the abduction and its connections to other criminal activities is ongoing. Reporting for Headline News Update, Dale Jarvis.
Thanks, Dale. Police are now investigating a fatal accident that occurred on Monday at Windsor Forest Public Road, West Coast, Demerara, resulting in the death of 30-year-old motorcyclist Stephon Brickett. The incident involved motorcar PDD 3036 driven by a 63-year-old man and Brickett's motorcycle. According to initial reports, the car was stationary on the northern side of the road when the driver made a sudden U-turn, colliding with Brickett's motorcycle, which was traveling east at high speed. Brickett was not wearing a safety helmet at the time of the collision. Emergency services transported him to the West Demerara Regional Hospital, but he was later transferred to Georgetown Public Hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries. The body is currently at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation mortuary, awaiting a post-mortem examination. Meanwhile, the driver of the motorcar has been arrested and is in police custody assisting with the ongoing investigation. Stick around when we return. Barbados man remanded to prison for assaulting wife, and Ghana honors senior citizens with Seniors in Fashion event.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31, 2024 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Where to apply for registration? You are required to visit the registration office that is responsible for the registration of persons in your area of residence to apply for registration. Office hours, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 12 hours, 13 hours to 16 hours 30, and Friday from 8 to 12 hours and 13 to 15 hours 30. The offices will be closed on weekends and holidays. This registration exercise will end on November 29, 2024. For further information, contact GCOM on 225-0277-9 or visit the website www.gcom.org.gy.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoons, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoons Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
See clearly with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. Amit Johir, also known as Edwin, a 36-year-old security guard from Hampshire Village, Curtin Berbice, has been remanded to prison after being charged with assaulting his wife, Jyoti Johir. The incident, which occurred on August 26, 2024, led to Johir's arrest on September 27th and his subsequent court appearance on September 30th, 2024. Johir appeared before Magistrate Michel Matthias at the New Amsterdam Magistrates Court, where he was charged with assault causing actual bodily harm and other related offences. He pleaded not guilty to the charges but was remanded to the New Amsterdam prison. The case has been postponed to October 4th, 2024 for further proceedings. Meanwhile, in a recent intelligence-led operation on September 30, 2024, police discovered 850 grams of marijuana at the home of 36-year-old Jim Schultz in Stanleytown, New Amsterdam, Berbice. The operation took place at Schultz's one-story wooden house, where officers conducted a thorough search of the premises. During the search, 2 black plastic bags containing leaf seeds and stems suspected to be cannabis were found in a cupboard. When confronted by the police, Schultz acknowledged the drugs, stating that the illegal items belonged to him. Further investigation revealed additional cannabis in a bag located under a bed in the bedroom. Several cell phones were also confiscated during the search. Schultz was cautioned regarding the offense and has since been placed in custody as investigation continues. On a different note, the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security hosted a special event, Seniors in Fashion, a day of celebration at the Roundhouse Kingston Seawall to honor the nation's senior citizens on Monday. The event was part of the observance of International Day for Older Persons 2024. Minister of Human Services and Social Security Dr. Vindhya Prasad emphasized the importance of recognizing the contributions and achievements of senior citizens while highlighting government initiatives aimed at enhancing their quality of life. These include establishing senior care centers and introducing digital pension payments through Mobile Money Guyana. The event featured various activities, including a fashion show, musical performances, and dances. This year's celebration was held under the theme, Aging with Dignity, the importance of strengthening care and support system for older persons worldwide. Don't go away after the break. Israeli troops advance into Lebanon as ground offensive launch and escaping Beirut. Hundreds of Lebanese flee as airlines suspend flights.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. Tim Walz and JD Vance are facing off this week in the first and likely only United States vice presidential debate ahead of November's elections, Al Jazeera's Shahib Ratansi reports.
JD Vance and Tim Walz have emerged as distinct personalities during this election campaign. A 40-year-old Marine veteran, Yale Law School graduate, and venture capitalist, Donald Trump's running mate Vance styles himself as a rags-to-riches success story, having grown up in a hard-scrabble rural community in Ohio. His memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, was a bestseller. Tim Waltz is a 60-year-old former high school teacher and American football coach. He served 5 terms in the U.S. House of Representatives before twice being elected as governor of Minnesota. His down-to-earth, folksy presentation has successfully contrasted with J.D. Vance's often awkward public appearances.
I'm J.D. Vance, American Vice President. Good to see you.
Okay.
In fact, as the campaign has progressed, Waltz has become more popular, while Vance has notched lower favourability ratings the more voters have got to know him. We already have a pretty good idea of the two candidates' lines of attacks. Waltz has ridiculed Vance's origin story.
Like all regular people I grew up with in the heartland, J.D. studied at Yale, had his career funded by Silicon Valley billionaires, and then wrote a bestseller trashing that community. Come on!
And Vance has had to defend various past statements and positions from which he has since retreated, from once calling Donald Trump America's Hitler to advocating for a federal abortion ban, to this comment suggesting people without children have no stake in the country's future.
We're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too.
Vance has attacked Waltz for overstating his military record.
Do not pretend to be something that you're not.
And for being a radical leftist who, with Kamala Harris, will lead the country to ruin through an open border. In an election likely to be decided by a few 100,000 votes, the vice presidential debate is being seen as potentially more significant than usual, though perhaps what will closely be scrutinized won't be any policy proposals discussed, but the potential for a significant blunder on stage by either participant. Shihab Ratansi, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Internationally, defying global calls for de-escalation, Israel has begun its first ground offensive into Lebanon in 18 years. The military says it's conducting, quote, limited and targeted raids against Hezbollah after killing its leader, Hassan Nasrallah, just days ago. Al Jazeera's Kaylee Callahan reports.
Flares illuminating the skies above southern Lebanon, a sign that Israeli troops were crossing the border. For days, Israel's military had been mobilizing along the northern border. Airstrikes throughout Monday paved the way for a ground offensive, which Israel says will be limited, localized and targeted against Hezbollah sites.
If we look at the composition of the strengths of Hezbollah, is made of mainly the missile units and the special forces. Now, Israel believes that it has destroyed most of the missile unit, or at least 50 to 60 to 70%. And now what Israel wants is to surround the special forces.
Israel says its ground operation is being supported from the air. A strike hit the Ain al-Hilwa camp near Sidon, the largest Palestinian camp in Lebanon. And the southern suburbs of Beirut were once again targeted in several large strikes.
They're confident because of recent successes in various assassinations and bombings that they have conducted. But frankly, I think they are overconfident. If they go in and they think that they can seriously disable Hezbollah on the ground, I think they're in for a few nasty surprises.
The airstrikes weren't limited to Lebanon. Syrian state media said an attack killed several people, including a journalist, in the capital, Damascus. Kaylee Callahan, Al Jazeera.
Finally, 1 million people have been forced from their homes by Israel's attack on Lebanon. Only a few airlines are still flying from Beirut's airport. Many of those lucky enough to secure tickets out say they don't care where they're headed as long as they can reach safely. Al Jazeera's Dmitry Medvenko reports.
Sighs of relief in Madrid's airport as hundreds of Lebanese arrive with whatever they've been able to pack.
I decided to just get out on the first plane to get out of Beirut to anywhere. So the shortest flight was Middle East, Madrid. We were able to secure a flight with my kids because I didn't want to send them alone.
I'm relieved, but I'm so worried about who we left behind. We are so worried. It's not over yet. It just began.
Similar scenes in Istanbul, Paris, London, Athens, and Milan. Lebanese fleeing their country and sharing their experiences of escaping.
On the way to Beirut Airport, we could hear explosions. The streets were almost empty. I feel like my life has no value. I feel worthless. Whether we live or not, our soul is worthless. If an EU citizen dies, their death has more value. We are just numbers.
When you get to Beirut, on my way to the airport, there is about maybe 500-meter line where people are just sleeping on the street, from on the grass, on the sidewalk, in front of the mosque, everywhere they're sleeping on the street.
With only a few airlines flying to and from Beirut on Tuesday, most tickets had sold out. For many others, the prices are unaffordable. Hundreds of thousands of people remain trapped in Lebanon as it reels from Israeli attacks. Dmitry Medvedenko, Al Jazeera.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the Spirit Weather Forecast. And that's Safety V2 Headline News for this Tuesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.